Hi there. I'm about to have lunch and you're more than welcome to join me. What I have today is I have some tofu and a peanut sauce that I made on top of some veggies. I have a little bit of sesame seeds on there as well. So I'm pretty excited to dig in here. And I have some tea in this mug, and then I have my water here. So I feel that I am pretty ready for food. I do have some paper towels nearby too, so I hope that it's not going to be too messy. Today I'm kind of celebrating because I actually have been able to eat twice. So usually I eat between once and twice a day, but sometimes the second one's pretty rough. Sometimes I get just down a rabbit hole of excitement about whatever, and I totally lose myself and I forget. Other times it's just I don't want to think about food. I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to cook. I would just rather not. And so that sometimes is the way things are as well. It doesn't really feel like Christmas to me right now. I don't know if you're feeling the same way. It just doesn't really feel all that festive. And I know that I see Christmas things and I hear Christmas things, but it seems very performative to me. It doesn't seem like there's anything there except for the performance. I made these tofus really big. So one thing that I didn't think of was to bring myself a knife. I'm sitting on the other end of my island today. You can see a little bit of my puzzle here. I usually do a puzzle maybe 3 times a year, maybe more. I like doing that, but I have to admit that when you do a puzzle, usually it's taking place valuable real estate, especially if you're like me and you have a smaller home. So you might not have lots of spaces to put puzzles. I've tried a few of those puzzle mats, and I don't know if I can't see how I would be doing those wrong, but they don't really seem to do the job for me. So what I want to look into is I want to look into those, they're kind of like a wooden easel that you can put a puzzle on, and it might have little compartments for you to organize your puzzle pieces. I want to look into those a little bit more. Not that I'll actually purchase one of those or anything, because it's another thing that you have to store. But it might be interesting just to see what's out there, what other things besides a puzzle mat could be a solution to what my problem is. Because if it lays flat, if there's a way to lay it flat, I can put it underneath things. So that's not a problem. It becomes a problem only if the easel lays flat, but there's nothing covering the actual puzzle. So I have to look into that. Let me know if you've tried anything like that and what you think. I'm gonna go and get myself a knife. Be right back. Let's see if this is helpful. Aha. Looks like that'll do the job. The veggies that I usually have are a frozen mix. I think this one is like a Thai stir fry mix. And it has water chestnuts, carrots, peppers. There's some baby corn and there's some broccoli in here. But that's basically it. And then I might pick up another type as well, more beans, peas, and carrots, that kind of thing. And I'll put that in soups just because my disabilities in my arms and cutting all those things can be almost impossible for me. So it's nice to have things frozen that are already kind of cut up and I don't have to think about it as much. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing like the taste of fresh vegetables in soups, but at least this makes sure that I have a vegetable component in what I'm eating. And along the subject of my arms, that's exactly the reason why I haven't cooked up rice. It's another step. It's another thing. It's another pot. It's another measuring thing. I just didn't want to have to deal with that today. So, tofu and veggies it is. I got this tofu pretty cheap. It was a couple bucks or something. And I will get like 3 meals out of it. So I'm not going to complain about that. Considering this economy, no. I encourage you, if you have kind of the expectations for yourself that there's a certain way to correctly do Christmas, to rethink that. I mean, for me, there's no way that I'd be able to do traditional Christmas. No way. I would not have the ability in my body, mind, and soul. Yeah, I wouldn't. And just the expectation of food and presents, I would not be able to. And I know I talked about this on our last meal too, so I won't go very much into it, but I would definitely encourage you, as I have to encourage myself all the time, to think about what that event means to you, what you would want people to experience. You can't control what they end up experiencing and what they end up thinking, so you can leave that there, but you can say, well, I want people to feel comfortable in my home. I want people to not be hungry. But what that means could be different things, right? So yeah, I would just encourage the brainstorming. And maybe for this year it's too late to really do a lot of those pivots, but for next year and for everything else that comes up, I do encourage that. Because for me, it was a situation where you have something that's acceptable and traditional, or you fail. And it's like, no, I don't believe that just because I'm disabled and I'm not able, that means that I fail. I think that there are expectations that should be mitigated. I think that success can mean what you scope out, what you have decided on. And also, who is deciding whether things are pass or fail? I don't remember anybody ever coming to my house and saying, you fail, and whatever. And if somebody did, I'm not a very violent person. I can't be. But if someone came to my house and had the audacity to tell me that I was failing because I wasn't following traditional structures about a holiday and whatever, I'm pretty sure I would kick them out. And I don't know exactly how I would do that, but they would not be welcome in my home because it's not to their standards that I live my life. It's to my standards. I decide, and I encourage you to decide what those standards are. I decided to journal right when I woke up this morning. I don't necessarily always journal in the morning. I don't necessarily always journal anyway, but this morning I had the idea that I was going to do kind of a year in review for me. And this year, I want to congratulate myself because I'm really bad at keeping a day planner. Really bad at keeping it. But this year, I have done really well. And I don't know if it's because there are stickers that came with the day planner that I got to use and have fun with. I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it's because a lot of things were happening and I needed to kind of reference that more because I didn't know what the day was going to bring otherwise. So I did a review, and because I used my day planner more often than I ever have in the past, I was able to look back on what January was, what February was, and so on. And in my journal, I kind of wrote little summaries. In January, I went to a hockey game, and so I wrote that down. I wrote down that, there were different things that I was working on and whatever. I wrote down in my year in review, when I started donating plasma, what I did for that. And so I was able to kind of look at all those things and say, you did a lot this year. And you might think that you haven't done a lot because of the fact that you got laid off in the summer, but you have done a lot. And even after your layoff, there's been courses that you've done, and there are volunteer opportunities that you sought out. There's whatever. So, especially around now, you get people writing about their New Year's resolutions. And goals are great, but the expectation of you to have certain resolutions, I want to encourage you to not have. There is no pressure. Your resolution could be, I am going to shower once a week. If that's something that you struggle with, that's an awesome goal. It doesn't have to be acceptable to anybody else if that is your goal. So the year in review was to kind of help me, was kind of like, well, what did I do really well this year? And where do I think I want to focus more next year? Am I in a position where I can focus on anything else next year? And what is it that I actually have the power to achieve? Because in actuality, getting a job is a large part not in your control. Like, there are some things that you can control and you can make goals for those things. But then, the people at the company, the people that are interviewing you, what they think, not in your control. And so I have to think about what is in my control that I would like to accomplish. What is in my control that I can use that will help me get a job, that will help me get into the employment sector again. That's just an example of what my resolution could be. I'm new into thinking about that for next year. I'm sure there's different ways to go about resolutions. And I'm not very certain that I have the best way to go about them. So if you have an idea of how resolutions should be, leave me a note. Yeah, because I definitely don't know how everyone in the world focuses on this time. It's a beautiful day again today. What I should do, I'm shoulding myself, what I would like to do, that's better, is I'd like to go for a walk to pick up the next book for my book club. Not that I will read it right away. I probably won't read it for at least a week, but at least I would get out of the house, enjoy some of this nice weather. Of course, this is nice weather for me. It's -20 or whatever right now. Very blue sky, snow everywhere, probably a little bit breezy. It's always a little bit breezy here. Have a good walk, because I do enjoy my walks. Maybe I'll bring a book that I'm currently reading and hang out at the library for an hour or so just reading my book. That might be an idea. Because I don't know, now that I've cooked, if there's other things that I want to do here. I mean, there's always chores and there's always stuff that you can work on. And because I'm not working right now, there's always job searching or networking or whatever. But I want to say that I usually job search and do chores and whatever during my days. So this is actually kind of what I do on my off day. And I have done a little bit of networking today. I don't know if I'll do job search today. I'll do more job searching tomorrow. But it's not like I have done nothing for my goals for job hunting at this point. I did have some emails. I have chatted with some people. So that is happening. Yeah, I think going out would probably be good but for my mental health, for my body, I think it would just be good. Getting out would be good. But first things first, having lunch. There's a creator that I used to enjoy watching on YouTube that I haven't seen lately. In fact, I haven't seen him since the US election, and I hope he's doing okay. So if anybody's watching this and has seen D'Angelo Wallace at all, or has seen him on YouTube and knows that he's doing fine, Let me know. Maybe YouTube has unsubscribed me somehow or whatever from him. I just hope that he's doing okay, and I hope that I'm using the right pronoun there. You can never be sure about how a person identifies by how they look, so I hope that I'm using the correct terminology. This isn't as good as last time I made it, but last time I made it, I did have rice. So I don't know if it's a rice thing. I have sesame seeds all throughout my teeth. Another content creator that I know is having a hard time right now, or seems to be having a hard time, is Rachel Oates. I want to give a shout out and consensual hugs if she wants them, because what she's going through is not easy. And I totally understand how, after a breakup especially, one can kind of question the reality a little bit about whether they've been thinking about things all wrong, or how they feel about being seen and their voice and whatever. And I hope that she has supportive people. I hope that you have supportive people in your life that you can bounce things off of. Not just yes people, that no matter what you say, will say yes and will be complimentary to you. But people that are open to your perspective, but will also provide another perspective. And there's something about it being cold right now and being kind of intense right now outside, but then having a warm thing. I love that contrast. I tell people all the time, it's like, well, I don't want it to be warm. I want it to be cold. I want to be warm. But the outside of me can be cold. That's what I want. I want it cold outside of me, but have a warm blanket around me. I want to cuddle and be warm, and the outside be cold. And the same goes with a hot beverage. Like, it's inside my house, so obviously it's not as cold outside right now. But I like the fact that it's cold, and I look outside and there's snow, and I have warm tea. It feels good to do that. I'm thankful for the fact that I can have warm tea today. I'm going to sign off. That's all there was today. Just wanting to share a meal and see how things are going with you, and kind of chit chat a little bit about what's going on with me. And I hope that you are doing the best with the situation that you find yourself in. And I will talk to you later.